Now, I've had the honor.
Now playing classical radio.
I didn't tell her to do nothing.
Now everybody scream enough respect to the X. Enough respect given.
What's up, YouTube? It's NG, the Neon X, and I'm back. This here is not a review of the new Apple HomePod Mini. So, I've had the privilege of using the new Apple HomePod Mini since Thanksgiving. So, for those of you who may not know this, the only thing I might like better than cell phones are headphones and speakers. When I got a chance to use the HomePod Mini in conjunction with my iPhone Mini, to me, it only made sense. So let me share with you my experience with Apple's two new Mini devices. Well, first of all, let me say Apple's new HomePod Mini is an odd little device. They made some questionable choices when designing this guy. The thing that first struck me as odd was the power cord. It's non-detachable. Now, personally, I would prefer some type of breakaway cord in case, the device falls over. There's an accident, someone is going to trip, they don't go down and bring the entire device down with them. When the device can break away, the cord part attached to the wall stays attached to the wall. There's less chance than anything more being damaged than has to be damaged in case of an accident associated with the cord being pulled on or tripped over or tugged. When it's a breakaway, the cord pops out, the device remains safe, and maybe even whatever may have caused the device or the cord to get yanked or tugged may also benefit from the detachable cable. So I'm not sure why they did that. The only thing that comes to mind is if such an event was to happen, not having the cord be detachable means you would have to take your beloved Echo Dot Mini to Apple for a cord replacement, and Lord knows how much that would cost. It might be in your best interest to just go buy an entirely new device. But I don't know how this cord is attached in there. Now, one of the things that surprised me with the device, and I'm surprised I didn't realize it before. I read about it and everything. It just didn't click. This device is solely for those entrenched in the Apple ecosystem. And I say that for a very good reason. Unless you have one of these or a similar iOS device, this will not work for you any at all. I thought perhaps you would be able to sync it via Bluetooth to your other devices. So even if you were an Android user or any other device that may have Bluetooth, you can still get the sound from the device. But no. This thing, though it does have Bluetooth, is some form of proprietary Apple connection that only allows their devices to sync up with the HomePod. Now, I remember that being the case with the original HomePod, and for some reason I thought that they addressed that with this one. Especially when they said Pandora works and all of these things can work. I don't know why I took that to mean all the devices could work as well. Maybe not as well as an iOS device, which would be fine, but something as basic as simple Bluetooth connection, so anyone could enjoy your audio hardware. Well, it would have been much appreciated, but no. I was actually surprised to find that there was no way to sync this device here any of my other devices, even with the iPhone. It's not as simple as you might think. In the case of Spotify, any device that has Spotify registered to you, you can play your music on that device from anywhere. I've been at work and set a song that my wife likes to play at home, just to let her know I'm thinking of her. You can't do anything even remotely close to that with this. So here we have Linkin Park playing on Pandora.
Say and I get lost.
When you play a song on this guy, you need to be in close proximity, and then you get it. Now, some might think that's actually pretty cool. Also, it doesn't always work when you try to jump the music from the HomePod to your phone. It was a lot of trial and error for me to actually get it to work. Well, as you can see, it's not working now. I do think your phone must be on, and it must be unlocked. Actually, no. You guys see me trying to do this. There we go. So it's not an exact science to it. If it worked 90% of the time, it wouldn't be so annoying. But there have been times where it just refused to jump the song. But then I did learn it doesn't actually have to be touching the HomePod. You could just be at a close vicinity to it, and it will jump, whether you want to or not. I mean, I doubt that your phone would be this close to this device unless you want to jump the song itself. But it did just so happen I had jumped a song to this, and I put the phone down beside it, and it jumped back to the phone. Nobody has time for that. It's just bothersome. If I want to play on this, there's little tweaks that should have been done to let the device know when I want to jump the device. If it's going to be touch it to do it, let it be touch it to do it, not bring it close. Because there's times I might, like I said, maybe I want to charge my phone and I have the HomePod Mini on the side table and the charger right by the HomePod Mini. I might be getting ready to relax and not thinking, put this thing down to charge, and boom, it's going to jump the music back to the phone. And it might not jump right back to the HomePod Mini. As you saw, it does take a few taps or touches or bring it close, whatever the case might be, to get it to work. And it's just an experience I'd rather not have to go through as often as I had to go through it. Now, those negatives aside, the main aspect of the speaker is the audio, and it does sound good for a small speaker. I will not take that away. This is a very nice sounding small speaker. Room filling sound depends on the size of the room. This does carry a nice melody throughout my personal bedroom. I don't think my bedroom is that large. It's big enough to be comfortable for the wife and myself. But when I took this device down to, let's say, my kitchen / dining room area, even turned all the way up, it wasn't as all encompassing as Apple would have you believe. My old Echo, the original Echo Show, fills that entire area with amazing sound, and that's the main device they use down there. For Thanksgiving, we decided to use this. It was the new device, and just to test out how clear the sound was, how well it traveled, how much you could feel it. We put this down and we use this in the Echo's stead, and it was disappointing. I didn't expect it to be as powerful as the Echo, because Echo is clearly a larger device, but even so, it was less powerful than I had expected it to be, especially with all of the claims that Apple had, where it could engulf your entire room in this beautiful, amazing sound. Not that it doesn't sound good, but if your room is too open, the audio quality will be lost at range. That's just the truth about this thing. So suffice it, I am a little disappointed with what we have here. The smart assistant on the device, Siri, as we all know, is not that great. She might come maybe third or fourth in the hierarchy of smart assistants. Little things you ask her, she will direct you to a website or just tell you straight she doesn't know. So as far as a smart speaker, for the basics, sure, but for anything more complex, I know that they've been working on Siri for years. She still isn't there yet, so I wouldn't depend on this as your main smart speaker in your room. Then again, if you are entrenched in the Apple ecosystem, like I said, from what I understand, she can reach out from your calendars and your meetings, and she can connect to all of Apple's services. Something me personally, I don't think any of, aside from Apple TV. And I'm not sure how this would work with Apple TV. I honestly did not try. Maybe you could tell this to play it and it'll play on Apple TV. Yeah, that might be something to think about. Hey Siri, open Apple TV.
I wish I could, but I can't open apps here.
So what's the point? She wishes she could, but she can't open apps. You are directly synced to my phone. I would hope you could do something along those lines. My Invoke can turn on my Xbox. It can open apps on my computer because it's all Cortana based. My Google Assistant can open whatever, wherever, however. Just little things to make your life that much easier. Again, my Apple ecosystem really consists right now of 3 items: my iPhone, this little thing, and my iPad. And so far, this thing has very little use as far as a smart device is concerned when it comes to home automation, because again, I don't have that many items. But for me to want to get all of the items that would work with this thing, with Apple Home, I think, the HomeKit as they call it, the main entrance to those devices should have more appeal to me than this thing does. No, perhaps the phone is the main thing, and this is just one of the accessories to it. But the fact that I can't gain access to this HomePod from the phone without being in close proximity to it. It's kind of a deal breaker for me. Simple Bluetooth or whatever Apple magic they could have done at range would have rectified that whole entire situation for me. But as it stands right now, the HomePod, at least the HomePod Mini, is very limited in its capability. It kind of reminds me of this guy here. This is my Harman Kardon Invoke. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this was Microsoft's first foray into the smart speaker segment. This guy was powered by Cortana, still is. Cost an arm and a leg when it first came out, but did offer at the time a very compelling smart speaker experience. It could sync to your computer, sync all of your calendars. Its main audio app was Groove. I don't know if you guys remember Groove. Groove was my favorite of all of them, but then before this guy came out, Microsoft kind of killed Groove, and it did take away a lot of the smart audio functions of this device. It can no longer tell you what songs were playing, because all that was stored in Groove. You no longer had access to your playlist and all of that. But to rectify that, Microsoft threw everything on Spotify, and this thing gained access to Spotify and Pandora and a slew of other audio applications. Plus, it had Cortana. You can make phone calls from it, all kinds of little smart things from the device. Now, as it stands right now, this speaker here, the Invoke, stands to lose its smart capabilities next year. In January, they're going to remove Cortana from all the Invokes. So you are pretty much left with a pretty heavy book weight, or at least so you would be led to believe. But there's one thing that the Invoke has that still makes it more useful than the HomePod Mini, in my opinion. Simple Bluetooth connection. You can run any of your devices through this device and it will work. Something as simple as that would have made all the difference with the HomePod Mini. All the difference. Because for as much as they've taken and are taking away from the Invoke, it's still more capable than the HomePod Mini. And that's saying something. Apple really needs to open up that walled garden and allow the other applications of the world to work with their devices, the other devices of the world to work in some form or function with their devices, or they will miss out on a lot, or they are missing out on a lot. The complaints are in about the old HomePod, and I was really hoping that the new HomePod would be something way more. When I saw that it was out, I jumped at the chance to buy it just so I could run these little tests, and I really wanted to keep this device. But right now, it's pointless. I don't have iTunes phone, and I get why they said iTunes or Pandora, because if you don't have iTunes, the only other app you can use is Pandora. So to get any use out of this, if you are not subscribed to iTunes, is it iTunes? No. Apple Music is Pandora, and that's why it's there. Oh, it's also, and it's a free app, so you can experience what it's like to use this. They claim that the other ones, Spotify and Tidal, I'm sure all these audio services will eventually make their way to this, but they could already been there if they just allowed for a Bluetooth connection. They might not have had all the smart capability as it was built into the device. At least we'd be able to experience what we want on their device. And that alone might be enough to make someone say, you know what, I want a HomePod Mini, because I love the size, I love the sound, and for what I play, this thing will suit my needs. But the fact that that is not there at all, if you don't play Pandora or you don't have Apple Music, this is a dead weight to you. A complete dead weight. I mean, I told the play music, and I think it pulls a radio station from iTunes or Apple Music, but you have no control over what's played. So if I have access to another music service, and I just want something like this to boost the sound, because I love how this sounds, you can't. So that's my takeaway from the HomePod Mini. Nice attempt. I'm sure in white this one will look amazing, but the price to value ratio just isn't worth the device, or just isn't worth it in my opinion. For that $100, if you really wanted to, you can get one of the new Echoes. Those things sound great. One of the new Googles or Sonos, perhaps an older, actually the Bose, they have things in the $100 to $200 range. I mean, there's a lot, and they have access to Alexa and Google. A lot of them you can choose which assistant you want. It's an app that uploads and it just knows. So there are much better options out there than this. This is solely if you are 100, or not, I won't say 100, but if you are so deep in the Apple ecosystem that this makes sense to you. But if you are already there, this will only make life that much more enjoyable. If all of your family all have iPhones and Apple Watches, and you use Notes and whatever other services Apple has, this here might be an indispensable smart speaker for you. But if that is not you, if you use a mixture of services in your everyday life, this thing is more of a hindrance. Because other smart speakers with their smart assistants would serve you much better. So, like I said, this is not a review of the HomePod Mini. Just my opinion. So with that said, my name is Angie, the Neon X, and the HomePod Mini. This is what I'm into.